In this demo, we will present EasyInterface and explain how we used it to build a common IDE for our program analysis tools. Once you install EasyInterface and go to its web client, you will see this developing environment where you can write programs in a programming language called ABS, or you can select a program from this list of examples. Let us select this program. Once we have a program, we can apply on it any of these available tools. I will select the resource analysis. Now I can go to the settings section to select values for the different parameters of this tool. And once I select them, I can build an outline of this program, which is a list of methods and functions from which I can select the methods of interest. For example, I want to select the main to indicate that I want the analysis to start from the main method. Now, when I click on the apply button, what will happen is that the web client will collect all this information and will send it to the EasyInterface server. The EasyInterface server will execute the program and will give me the output back. So the output is shown here in the console area. Some output regards the resource consumption of this program, but also every method is associated with a marker here that indicates its resource consumption. Okay, if I select a different tool, for example, that may happen in parallel analysis, we will see a different kind of output where some lines of code will be highlighted. For example, I will get now an output where I can click on one line. For example, I will click on 32, and some other lines will be highlighted to indicate that those lines might be executed in parallel with this one. Now, how the tool can add markers in the web interface and highlights lines, etc. So this is done without any knowledge on web programming. All the tool has to do is to provide me with a set of commands that are written in a language that we call the EasyInterface output language that defines these graphical effects. For example, if the output is this one, then this command will highlight lines 5 to 10 in the file sum.c. This command will define that if the user clicks on line 17, then open a dialog box with this message, etc. So this language has many other commands similar to those ones. Now let us see how we can add a tool to this list of tools that we have here, and how we can add parameters to the settings section. So this should be done at the server side. So we modify the configurations file of the server side basically. If we go to the server side now and we look at the configuration file, so the configuration file looks something like this, where every tool that we had in the menu has one line here. So the first line, for example, corresponds to the resource analysis tool, and this is the configuration file of that tool. Let us open this configuration file. So the first part of this configuration file is just general information about the tool, and the most important one is this one. So this one defines how to execute this tool. So it says, if someone requests to execute this tool, we have to execute this program, replacing EI files by the list of files that we get, replacing EI outline by the list of methods that we have selected from the outline, and replacing EI parameters by the list of parameters that the user has selected. So the server will receive this information, will replace these template parameters by corresponding values, will execute the command line, and send back the output to the client who will view it in the web interface. This tool can also define parameters that it accepts. For example, here define a parameter that's called cost model of type select one, which means it can take one value out of many values. For example, this is one possible value, this is another value, etc. If I take this value and I copy it twice and I change the name of one of them, so this should appear automatically in the web interface. I just have to refresh this page, and in the settings section now, the cost model parameter will have this new value steps 1. Okay. Now, if I want to add a new tool to this, if I want to add a new tool to the web interface, all I have to do is just to provide one line like this. For example, here I copy the resource analysis twice, so now I should see it twice in the web interface. And if we refresh the page, we will see here in the menu that the resource analysis appears twice. Okay. So the web interface is also configurable. You can define your own set of examples here, and you can define the way you want to generate the outline. For example, we generated for ABS programs, but one might want to generate them for example, for Java programs, etc. More information on EasyInterface is available in the GitHub